What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Waiting for some Uber Eats, DoorDash, that sort of thing. I just wanted to say something real quick. I guess we got a difference of opinion, but there are no F pluses. There are no fours, but extra credit. So anyway, you all need to check out my community tab, and I shared the 10-hour Coliseum video that was on Art of Itmore. It really did turn into a Coliseum, and it got real lit the last like 4 hours of the stream. So that's kind of where you want to start. Because the first hour just on some stupid shit with a dude being stupid. But once you get to that last half or that last like 3-4 hours, it really got lit. Um, I gotta say this. I understand that a woman may be of value to you, but if we're judging looks, we're judging looks. You can be a hateful, you deserve to die and be killed bitch and still be an 8 or 9. You're like, yes, I understand, and I've said this before that like your looks can make you, and sometimes they can. There are women, but there are also women who can be straight bitches and still be fine as hell. But then you got a lot of women where they're more in the middle, or they got a certain look at their personality like move them one way the other way a little bit, at least in your mind. But the truth is that's your perception. What she is what she is. And it doesn't matter if a bitch can cook and clean and she's the perfect bitch. At the end of the day, she's still a 4. And the reason why I want to, if she's a 4, she's a 4. And the reason why I want to reiterate that shit is because black women are always talking about intangible shit that they don't do. This is why they'll call Kevin or call Jason Black, and they'll always talk about, oh, I can be this, but I add value. No, that may be true, but that still doesn't graduate you from the looks department. It's like me saying, well, yeah, I'm 5'5", but look at all the stuff that I do, though. Okay, yeah, people may take that in consideration, but I'm still 5'5". And this is not to say that the other stuff doesn't count for an individual person. This is important because there's a difference between concept. Let me say this in favor of the dudes that want to believe that there is a difference between the concept of judging somebody just on their looks and then judging somebody as to the value they have to you. I understand that. Because people are multidimensional. I get that. And this is why a lot of billionaires are not with drop dead gorgeous women. Because they are looking at the same things that all these other guys are looking at. But with that being said, we're not going to say Mark Zuckerberg's wife is like an 8 because of the value she brings to Mark Zuckerberg. She is still what she is. And the reality of the situation is we have to stick to stuff like that because we have to understand where we stand. And at that point, when you start saying, well, what about the value they give? Okay, at that point, now it becomes very subjective because that's subjective to what people value. The truth is people value different shit. So now we can't really have a conversation because what you value may not be what I value, and what you value may be slightly different than what I value. So when we were on Art of Itmore, we weren't talking about all the other extra bullshit. We were talking about how that bitch looked. Period. All of that, well, fat girls can cook and fat girls can do this. Fuck that. Because number one, a lot of them can't even do that, cook like that. A lot of these chicks are big, not because they can cook. In fact, I would argue that most women that actually know how to cook are probably not that big. Because women that are big, they're not big because of the food they're eating. They're big because of the fast food, the processed food. A lot of that has to do with laziness. And that's true for the dudes too. So my point is, you would never like this intangible shit. Look, the intangibles matter, but at the end of the day, that I understand people's personal scale. But what I'm saying is, when something is brought into a general square, where it has to be talked about from a general standpoint, we have to use the same measurements. We have to use the same metrics. We don't get to say, well, I don't like this system, so I'm going to modify it. No. If you're saying, look, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with saying that I would be cool. I have said it before and I will say it again. Black men are not out here talking about they want 8s, 9s, and 10s. Now, I disagree with BGS. BGS wasn't saying this, by the way. But on this point, BGS makes it sound like black men are out here talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s. First of all, what most black men call an 8, 9, or 10 is really like a 6, 7, or 8. That's true. They're saying 8, 9, or 10, but when you actually tell them to show me what an 8, 9, or 10 looks like, they're showing you a 6, 7. They're showing you an upgradable 6, an upgradable 7, upgradable 8. And what do I mean when I say that in reverse? What I mean is they're showing me chicks that are 7s done up or 8s done up, but when you remove that makeup, they're really 6s. Like an 8 is really like a 6.5. A 6.5, but done up, she can look like an 8. Or a 7, she's done up, she can look like an 8. Or a woman is really a 7, but really she's like a 5.5, but done up. Or she may be like a 5.5 with a fat ass. She may be a 5.5 with a great body, but face wise, she's like a 5.5. Like these are, and this is why we always talk over each other, because we're not on the same page. Because people are sitting there adding different value systems, and that stuff is not being really translated properly. So yes, there's of course there's intangibles that a woman can bring. Hell, even being a cooperative female can give you a lot of. But the reality is, and here's why I say that, because a lot of times if a chick is not as attractive as she used to be, she's not as attractive, and not as attractive as she used to be, a lot of times they become more cooperative. You know why? Because they are not at the same level on the same sexual marketplace value to get the bullshit that they get. Women will trade on what they believe they can get max. And as soon as they realize that they're not getting, women are getting a continuous flow of offers. So when they start to see those offers go, the way women are when it comes to being checked on is a lot like how the stock market is. And what happens, so they very much become aware of when their stock price starts dropping, because they see it in the flow of the type of guys that they are either able to get or it automatically comes up to them. They can see it. Just like every day you get on the Dow Jones. They see that all the time. When they see that the trend is going low, that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. And they know it. So eventually, if they're smart, they'll start readjusting what they want depending on what it is. But they're always going to go for the most. So if a woman all of a sudden got better looking, she's going to, I'm not saying all of them, but the general is they're going to try to go for more. This is why, and shout out to Donovan Sharp for doing this. Donovan Sharp, he did a video about this. How when women, the biggest killer of marriages is when women lose weight. When you marry a woman fat, if she loses that weight, she's going to leave. And he was talking about that amongst white people. He wasn't even talking about that amongst black people. Exactly, Vern. So even though and here's the thing, these women may be 7s, 8s, and 9s to them, but in reality, I'm not even talking about LA rules. In reality, a lot of these chicks are like 5s, 6s, and 7s. Or really, I know that. So it doesn't matter what they say. I know what they pick. So when a lot of these women, but see, women are legit only wanting to deal with like 8s, 9s, or 10s dudes. This is why they have a problem. Because they're trying to compete for dudes. Like if you're a black man and you are women consider you an 8, 9, or 10, every race is really checking for you unless they just got a thing against black men. And then even then that just depends on what type of black man it is. This is why it's always about really trying to control. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm out. I'm gonna come back to this, but I'm out. I'm out. I'll come back to this. Peace out, y'all.